Welcome to lecture 2. In this lecture, we are going to talk about file processing in C. First of all, we'll try to understand why do we need file processing in a C program. So far, we know how to get the input from the user and how to display some information to the user. But sometimes getting this kind of interactive input from the user will be not possible. And also sometimes giving the program output just in the terminal or the output screen will not be enough for further processing. Because of that, we need to use file processing in C. So think about a situation like this. So if you want to enter a student marks for 1,000 different students, then doing it in a interactive C terminal window will be a time consuming and tedious process. So instead of that, what we can do, we can store those 1,000 different marks in a text file. Then we can process it in our C program by using the file processing command. Then we can save a lot of time entering that information in the command line. So program can run multiple times using the same file input, and it can process the marks accordingly. Same thing happen when you output something in your terminal window or your output screen. That is standard output screen, right? That output will be displayed in your terminal window, and that output will be disappeared when you close the terminal window. But in some practical scenarios, we need to save our output for further processing. Because of that, we would like to save our program output into an external file. So that is the another place where we need file processing in C. So let's try to understand what is a file. So file is a collection of data which usually stored in a secondary storage, and it has a name and it has a data type or the file type. So usually in this discussion or in this lecture, we are going to process the files stored in our hard drive as text file format. If you consider about the file processing in C, you should be able to perform 4 basic operations in C. You should be able to perform file opening, file read, file writing, file close. So those are the basic operations that we would want to perform when we are processing text files or the files in our C program. So let's consider how the informations are stored in a text file. So those are stored as a sequence of bytes, hopefully logically continuous. Sometimes if file is too large, then it might be divided into some disk fragments, right? But those disk file will be logically connected to each other. So file is a sequence of bytes stored in a logically connected location in your secondary hard drive or secondary storage device. I hope you all have a clear idea about what is a file and what are the operations that we need to perform in a file, right? So let's move on how we can process a file in a C program. In order to process a file in a C program, the first thing that we need to create a file stream. If you consider about the standard input stream and standard output stream, so far we have used the standard input stream and standard output stream to get the input and give some output from our program. But right now we're going to use files in order to get an output or in order to give some output. Because of that, we need to create file stream in a C program. In order to create a file stream in our program, we need to use a special variable or the special structure called file, which is defined in our standard input and output header file. So how we can define a file stream? So we need to give the type of the file stream that we're going to define. So usually this should be the uppercase file. Then we need to put a star sign that is indicating this will be a pointer, right? So we will talk about pointers later. Right now you can think as we need to put a star sign, and you can give any name for your file stream. So this will create a file stream. So a stream of characters which we can open our files and process it accordingly. Before processing any files in C, we need to create a file pointer that allow us to process that file. So that is the first thing that we need to create when we are processing the file. We need to create the file stream. Then for this file stream, we can open the files we want. Then we can output the files, output the information that we want, right? Then we can close the file stream wherever we want. Right? So the basic idea, we need to create the file stream in order to process the files in our C program. Then we need to think about how we can open the file. Right? So once you create the file stream, then you need to open the relevant file in order to process that information stored in a file. So there are three basic modes how you can open a file into a file stream. Right? The first mode is the read mode. Read mode allow us to read information from an open file, right? So if the file is exists in the specified location with the specified name, then it will open the file and it will allow us to read information in that file. So reading cursor will be positioned at the beginning of the open file. If that specified file is not available in the specified location, then file stream will not have the open file. Then file stream will be assigned to null file pointer. The second mode, how we can open a file in order to process that file in our program using the write mode. So write mode we usually use to store or write something into our external file. If we are opening a file in the write mode, if that file is state or if file is exists in the specified location with the specified name, then what it will do, it will open that file and it will erase all the previous content in that file, and it will give us a clear or the empty file to write something onto that file. If that file is not available in the specified location in the specified name, if you're opening that file using the W mode, then it will create that file. It will create an empty file and it will allow us to start writing on that file. The third mode that we can use to open a file is the append mode. So append mode allow us to write something into our external file stream. But there's a difference between the append mode and write mode. So write mode and append mode both are used to write something into our external file. Write mode, it will open the file and it will erase all the content, and it will allow us to write anything from our current program from the beginning of that file. But append mode is little bit different. It also allow us to write something into external file, but it will open that file and it won't delete the content in that file. So it will open the file. If that file is exists in the specified location with the specified name, then it will open that file and it won't erase the content of that file. It will allow us to write our new content at the end of the existing content. So it will place the writing cursor at the end of the existing content. So we can write the content at the end of the existing content. So we can append the content if you open the file for writing using the A mode. So we won't delete the existing content in that file. So in the append mode also, if the specified location, if the specified file is not available, then it will create a new file and it will give us a empty file to start writing. But if that file, if the specified file name file, the specified location is available, it will open that file and it does not delete the existing content. So that is the difference between the write mode and the append mode in the file opening modes in C. So we will go through some of the examples on file processing in the next video.